I am so mad right now. I just got home from the movies where I thought I was going to be able to see a nice, fun, relaxing movie after having to deal with the fucking Seton crap this morning. I was wrong! This was the worst movie I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, and I've seen quite a few bad, shitty, fucked up movies. But this movie was just insta-crap. You know, I got to the theater early, so I just kind of sat back, relaxed, did my tweeting, Facebooking, you know, while I was waiting, blah, blah. The movie starts. And again, I'm going to put this in the title or whatever, but there will be spoilers here. So if you actually want to slit your wrists and kill yourself and go see this shitty movie, feel free not to watch the rest of this video. Alright. Movie starts out. Okay, we start out, you know, the horny teenage boys in love with the slutty teenage girl, you know, typical, oh, I'm going to crash my plane into her yard so I can spend time with her. You know, typical, that part was cute and all, and she's like, oh, I want to see a tree so bad, I would marry the man on the spot who brought me a real tree. So, of course, he gets the idea. Oh, I must be able to find her a tree. Then she'll love me. Everybody knows material items are the true way to love. So, his grandma was cool, though. I'll give his grandma props. Grandma was awesome. She was also voiced by Betty White, which made her a step more awesome. So she tells him, hey, go see the Onceler. If anybody can help you find a tree, it would be the Onceler. And keep in mind, they're living in a civilization where real trees don't exist. They're living in this civilization where their trees are basically like lampposts. They're not real trees. And the first song starts, and I'm just like, I mean, I was expecting somewhat decent music, but the music was fucking terrible! I mean, I'm sitting here and I'm trying to enjoy this music, but it sucks! I'm sitting there going, massaging my temples going, are you kidding me? This music is fucking retarded! Oh my god! But anyway, you know, I've already established that the music in this movie sucks. You know, and whatnot. There is actually one good song out of all the horrible songs. I mean, pretty much every single song is horrible except for the one they play at the end. There's one. Out of like 6 or 7 or some shit. All the other songs are horrible! And they all sound the same! So anyway, Grandma tells him, hey, go see the Onceler. They were trying to stay true to the book by saying bring him a nail and a grandfather snail shell and 15 cents or whatever the fuck you had to throw in the bucket to get him to come down or whatever. Tell you the story of the Lorax. What really annoyed me is they had the perfect opportunity to have Betty White sing that song from the beginning of the actual cartoon, and she was speaking it. And she spoke it wrong! If you don't know what I'm talking about, in the beginning of the animated Lorax, the song starts out on the far end of town where the grickle grass grows. And I'm seeing if I can try to remember this off the top of my head. And the wind is sweet and sour when it blows, lies the street of the lifted Lorax. Okay, that's where the Onceler lives. The Onceler lives on the street of the lifted Lorax. Grandma didn't say the street of the lifted Lorax. She just said that's where you'll find the Onceler. And I'm like, that didn't even fucking rhyme, Grandma! What the fuck's the matter with you? So, bottom line, like I said, their whole civilization that they're living in, their civilization that they're living in, is enclosed inside like a fucking bubble, like Man in the Moon or some shit. So he pushes a button, this teenage kid pushes a button, gets out. The guy running the town is this creepy little fucking trolley-looking dude. And he's like, find that kid. We must stop him from going outside and finding things that might prevent me from selling air to all the suckers who live in this town. Because what he does is he sells air to people and makes a lot of money. And if this kid brings a real tree, which produces photosynthesis and actually brings air, he won't be able to sell any more air, which is retarded fucking stupid concept. But anyway, so he goes out. He almost gets killed. Okay, this part made me so fucking mad. Okay, there was this. He's on his little motorbike thing or whatever the fuck you want to call it. He comes to a ditch. I mean, a big fucking ditch. I mean, it's like. I mean, like ridiculous. A big fucking gorge. Okay, he finds like a little piece of plywood, maybe like this long, and he's like, okay, I'll use that to jump the gorge. What? And so he does. He's all, okay, and he goes straight down into the gorge. Now, immediately you'd be thinking, okay, instant death. No! He goes all the way down, and he zooms up all the way around like he was in a big windpipe or some shit, whatever you call those things that they do with the skateboards, you know, the half pipe, I think is what they're called. It was like that. And he ended up, boop, and he came right up, right on the other side. It was retarded! It made me very angry! I'm like, if you're gonna set up something retarded like that, at least have him go, woo, and float across the gorge like Bart Simpson's dad tried to do in that episode of The Simpsons. You know? Or at least make him fall and get fucking hurt. Didn't even get hurt! And I haven't even gotten to the fucking Onceler yet! And I can't stop rambling! But anyway, he gets to the Street of the Lifted Lorax. The way they designed it was good. They had the little unless thing, you know, they had his little house thing set up, his little bucket, the hammer, and flung this kid through the air, and they showed him, like, all you saw through the window was, like, his eyes, a little bit of facial hair, and his big, long, green gloves, you know, and that was pretty much about it, that you saw from the window, anyway. And so he finally starts telling him the story, you know, because he wants to know about trees, blah, 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 because he wants to impress the chick, and so he starts telling him the story. They show the Onceler as a young kid. No! No! Movie! Wrong! It was so fucking insulting. And then to top it all off, you know, in the animated version, we had all this lovely musical number with the barbaloots and the humming fish and shit like that. You didn't have that in this movie. You just had three retarded little humming fish basically sounding like the chipmunks. And it sucked. And what really annoyed me is there was this one fat barbaloot. Out of all these cute little barbaloots, there's this one big fat barbaloot. And I'm like, that's not funny. That's not even in the same zip code as funny. And basically, you know, it goes kind of like the story, except the Onceler's family is like a bunch of assholes, basically. His mom and his aunt and all his family is basically a bunch of assholes, and they're like, well, go out and find your fortune, but you're never probably going to find it because you fail at life. But bye, son! Bye! And it's just like, really? And he's in his cart, and he's got a guitar! When did the Onceler ever have a fucking guitar? When? And he sang some stupid fucking song. Oh, God. It raped my brain. Oh, my God. So he finally gets to the area where the truffula trees are. It looks amazing. It looks fucking amazing. The barbaloots and their barbaloot fruit, and then it actually took a turn. I was like, okay, this is going to be good. Because all the barbaloots, all the fish, all the swami swans and shit were all like, what the hell is this guy doing here? And they all looked like they were going to, because I think it was after he cut down a tree. He cut down a tree, and they all got mad, and they were all, oh, we're gonna eat him, rah! But then, he whips out some marshmallows. Marshmallows! And the bag rips open, and all the little fucking barbaloots and even the fish are like, these are good, I guess we can forgive you and be friends, since you gave us junk food. movie! Wrong! Bad! Okay. God, I'm already 10 minutes into this, and I'm nowhere near the end of this horrible movie yet. Oh, good lord. But anyway, then from this point on, it pretty much goes the way it did in the book, in the animated version. You know, Lorax comes up, only he doesn't rhyme as much. I don't even think he rhymed really at all. He was just being Danny DeVito, you know, and it's like they broke into his house, they tried to drown him. They basically put his bed on the river trying to force him to leave so he wouldn't stay. Even though he already promised he wouldn't cut down any more trees, they were still trying to get him to leave anyway. And later on, the Lorax had the nerve to say, "But you broke your promise." It's like, excuse me, buttface, but didn't you try to drown me after I told you I promised I wouldn't cut down any more trees? Because initially, in this version, he decided to harvest the troughs without cutting down the tree. But then his crappy family said, well, if we cut down the trees, it'll be faster. And that was where all the shit started and blah, 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 and all this. Ugh. So much fucking... There's so much shitty story. It's just like, I don't even want to tell you anymore because it's so fucking stupid. And what really sucks is the Onceler made this kid, Ted, come back 3 times to finish telling him the whole fucking story. And every single time, he had to sneak out of the town where pretty much the police of this town were fucking watching him and trying to stop him from getting out. Basically, in the end, he gets a singular Truffula seed from the Onceler, manages to get the town to back him up, plants the seed. Truffula trees are back in bloom. I guess they planted a bunch of them by where the Onceler lives, and he started going out watering them like some kind of good fucking Samaritan. Then the unthinkable shit happened. The fucking Onceler, the Lorax, came back. You know, the end of the original, he lifted his butt up by the seat of his pants and he flew up through a cloud in the sky. Well, at this point, you know, all the little Truffula trees are starting to grow. The Barbaloots are coming back. The birds are coming back. Blah, blah, blah. Everything's clean. The smog's clearing up. The air is becoming fresh. And the Lorax comes back! What the fuck? Number one, why would the Lorax have come back? Nobody cut down a tree. I thought that was the only way he made his magical entrance. No! Bad movie! Oh, and that doesn't even account for the horrible chase scene when Ted, the girlfriend, the teenage girl he's in love with, Audrey or whatever the fuck her name was, and Grandma are all racing around trying to avoid all the bad guys. And you're going through so many retarded cliches. Mom drives off in a car. It's obviously clear that Tad is not in the car with her, but she's tricking the guy into following her. I mean, it was just so stupid! Bottom line here. I feel like my childhood has been raped by this shitty movie. I really do. I hated this fucking movie. And I honestly can say I have never hated a movie this much before in my life. I mean, literally. I mean, I walked out of this movie despising it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and end this review right now, and I'm going to go watch the original Lorax, because that's the only version of the Lorax that you should be watching. Okay? Peace out, guys.